providing service, and the amount they take is so small. But even besides, we are still working with them to make the amount smaller further, make it small further, so that the impact will be less. But yes, you look at that amount now, it will reduce, but you know the implication, I mean, the positive implication for you in the future. Because, like I said, the bank will have records on you. You may decide to take loan. Sometimes your brother or a family person may not even have money immediately to send to you. Let's assume he sends this money on a monthly basis. But there will come a time he doesn't have the money at that point. And you have to pay your rent, or you have to pay school fees, or you have to do something at that point. That bank can look at you and say, oh yeah, he always receive, probably there's some delay, and give you some overdraft or give you some loan, so that as soon as the money can, you pay.
So it seems that I think the intent for which you issue this regulation is to encourage more people to to bank in their resources, because it seems like you are getting a drought of customers.
No, not necessarily. For our financial system or the economy to move around, people need to utilize the financial system. So you want more people to utilize the financial system. That's one. Two, if you have a lot of cash with you, there are so many downsides to it. We just talked about the impact on
The mutilated.
yes, mutilation. Secondly, it's likely that criminal could even attack you. Criminal could attack you. And thirdly, you found out that because of the kind of cash, economy that we've got, even if criminals go and get money, proceeds of crime, we still don't distinguish it. We don't even know where they got it from.
Okay.
And then it tends to encourage people to commit more crime to get more proceeds from it. So all of these things, we just talk about that, the benefit on you in opening an account, but there are so many other benefits down the line that will be good for the country in general, and that will be good for you sometimes in the future as well.
Okay. You're listening to the program Money Matter. Money Matter is the program funded by the Central Bank of Liberia. And on today's edition, we have Mr. Foncia Mohamed Donso. He's the Director of Regulations and Supervision at the Central Bank of Liberia. Now, to go further, Ms. Donso, from time immemorial, consumers continue to complain about the quality of services that they do receive from the commercial banks. As the mother bank, which is a central bank, and responsible to regulate the operations of the commercial banks, are there systems in place to find some resolution to the dispute that may maybe arise between consumers and the central bank? Do you have systems in place?
Absolutely. The central bank has been having system in place for a long period of time.
Okay.
The central bank has a unit dedicated to handling complaints and making sure that complaints are resolved. And so this consumer protection unit is there to protect consumers as well as the service providers. Now, so what we do is the regulations and the guidelines and the directives that the central bank issue, these are minimum standards by which the bank's supposed to guide their operations.
Okay.
So these standards that we've set, you should not go below. And this is why we encourage the public. Go to the central bank website, look at the regulations. If you want to do something in the banking sector, you want to maybe do certain investment in the financial sector, go to the central bank regulation. Website. You see regulations for what you want to do. And if you don't see any regulation to address what you want to do, we are there. The Regulation Supervision Department is there for banks, microfinance institutions, and all of that. And we also get insurance department there to address insurance matters. Come to us, we'll be able to explain to you what is it. But if you also feel dissatisfied with any issue, we've told all of the banks to have a box where consumer complaints should be, placed, and to also have staff to handle consumers' complaints. So, if you have a complaint or you are dissatisfied about service, what we encourage you to do is first to engage the bank. Okay. If you are not satisfied with the bank's resolution, you come to us, you write us, and then we'll make sure that we address it. We'll contact the bank. We've resolved so many issues that could have gone to court, but did not go to court because of our intervention. And what we also planning to do is to make the process easy by putting, uh, in fact, it's already on the central bank Facebook page that you can go and complain against any bank or any financial institution. And when you file your complaint, it's like a chat box. You chat with the on the Facebook page, and the complaint will go straight to that financial institution and also come to us at the central bank.
Okay.
And that financial institution has 7 days,
7 days.
7 days
Okay.
to resolve it. And then when they can resolve it, we already also have it, and then we follow through, we follow up on that. So that automated system will be launching it very soon. It's on the central bank website, but it's a trial. It's there for a trial purpose. When we launch it, everybody will be able to utilize it. That should be able to help people, not just in Monserrate, because you got bank branches or financial institution branches all across the country. So if somebody is in Maryland that has problem with a service in Maryland, to file a complaint the way it is currently, the person has to travel from Maryland here. That's what we want to address. So that wherever you are able to file a complaint and it will be addressed immediately.
Now, what are some of the complaints, Mr. Dons, if you could just refresh our memories, that people bring sometimes against the commercial banks, and you have to intervene so that it doesn't go further?
Well, some of the complaints, most of the complaints that we got have to do with most time loan repayments. So sometimes you as a customer, the bank gave you loan,
Okay.
and maybe you've paid, and then there's default somewhere along the road, and then you don't follow the process, the bank add default charges and all of that. Sometimes you don't know. Then at the end of the day, you think that you've completed your payment, the bank is saying no, you still got payment outstanding.
Okay.
So these are some of the complaints. Some of the other complaints are that sometimes people say there are withdrawals from their account unknown to them. These kind of withdrawals are sometimes charges and all of that, but they are not aware. So these are complaints that come to us. And some of people also complain about delay in providing services to them.
Sure, long
And-
queues and all
yeah,
of that.
Yes, and all of that. So these are all complaints, that come to us. And the issue of long queues and all of that we try to address. The banks, we make the banks to have more teller cages, but besides that, you'll see most of the banks now have ATMs, they have POSs, and then you got mobile money where you can push and pull. You can take from your account and put to your account. These things are actually helping to reduce the crowdedness in the banking halls.
Now, you said that one of part of your system, you've instructed the central banks the commercial banks rather, to ensure they do have some box, where customers can, place in their concerns and whatever it is. But how effective is the central bank of Liberia to ensure that complaints that are in that box are picked up from there? Because do you pay regular visits to the bank or visitation to the bank, to the commercial banks, to ask them what is in your, because I'm a commercial bank, I got a lot of complaints people have placed in my box of concerns. Let me just take them out and bring them. You may not know.
Yes, but what happened is that commercial banks are also under obligation to file report to us of all of the complaints they've got over a period of time, say on a monthly basis. You file report to us, the number of complaints you receive, you list them, the purpose of the complaint, and then the
But
status.
a bank may decide, Mr. Donso, not to include that in the report. Though they've received complaints, but they say, well, I don't want for central bank to be aware of the complaints that are received, and so they will just get it off the box and bring them.
Yeah, so one, you have to do that report to us. Now, if you took any of the complaints out, that person complaint is not addressed, they will come back to us.
Okay.
They will file the complaint to us. And they will give us copy of the complaint that they serve to you, the bank. Now, if we went to your returns or your report and we don't see it, that means you are reported to the central bank erroneously. And that's, that attract penalties.
Okay.
Sometimes the fines and the penalties are so grave that it could range from monetary to even suspension of management.
Wow.
Yes. So the banks are aware of that. So we haven't seen, from our review, anything of that sort. We haven't seen, and I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but nothing of that sort has come to our attention.
Okay.
But definitely banks, MDs and bank staff are aware that, filing erroneous report to the central bank, the funds associated with it, they are aware of it. So I'm not sure.
Are the funds high or low?
They are very high.
Okay.
They are very high and they're very dissuasive.
Okay.
They are proportionate, of course.
Okay, that's good. It has been reported, Mr. Donso, that the issue of non-performing loan is a major challenge threatening the financial stability in our country. What can be done before this whole problem gets out of control?
Thank you. And this is the major concern that we've got. It's a major concern, like you said, it's a threat to financial stability. First, before I go to what can be done, I just want to give you the impact of non-performing loans.
Okay.
If you look at banks, went to the central bank website, you see the regulation on capital adequacy. The minimum capital banks can bring, the banks are required to bring $10 million, to start a bank.
Okay.
You need $10 million. That is the capital. Now, each one
10
of,
million United States dollars.
yes,
Okay.
10 million United States dollars. Each one of these banks have loans to the public. Some of them, the smaller banks, have loans to the public more than $50 million. So you can just imagine that their capital is not, their capital, if they were using their capital, they would have used their capital ever since to give out loans, and also additional. The additional money that they've given us as loans are the depositors' money.
Okay.
You and myself, ordinary people in the street, they have money with the bank. As far as they know, they have money with the bank. In my opening statement, I said banks mobilize resources, they take deposit and give you as loans. So the loans that these big businesses have, individuals have from the banks, are actually money from the ordinary people.
Okay.
Now, if these big businesses or these businesses and individuals refuse to pay, they're actually refusing to pay our money, the depositors' money. I'm just trying to draw that picture for people to see. So if you refuse to pay money to the bank,
The loan you took.
you are actually you are actually sitting on an ordinary person's deposit, civil servant deposit. That's one.
Market in the market there.
Market,
Mamusa,
Mamusu,
grumpy, all of that.
All of that. So it's their money you're sitting on, and you think it's the bank's money. That's one. Two, if you refuse to pay your loan, say Peter Paul refused to pay his loan, then Mary Brown cannot get loan because it's the money you took. If you pay, it's that money they're supposed to use to give to another person.
Okay.
So it means that you are denying other people from having access to loans or money, either to do business or to do other things that are very important to them.
Okay.
And then thirdly, if you refuse to pay, this bank supposed to make more money on this loan, profit on this loan. Because of your refusal to pay, there's something we call provisions. It means all of the earnings that the bank has made will all be wiped away. Now, if these earnings are wiped away, because if the bank make money, they make income, they're supposed to pay tax.
Okay.
It means that they are not paying their tax to the government because you have refused to pay back.
And you're robbing government of the tax system.
Robbing government of the tax system. Then, besides all of that, non-performing loans, because of your refusal, it affects the liquidity in the banking system, which is a major impact for financial stability. So your refusal to pay, you are actually hampering financial stability, you are slowing down the country's economy, and so many things by your refusal to pay.
Okay.
So it's important that those that have loans that are not performing, go to the bank, restructure the loans, make sure that you are able to pay your loan, be it maybe small amount at a time, but make sure you pay. That is important.
So what is the bank doing now to address the situation? What can be done?
So the central bank, working with the commercial bank, we are thinking on so many things. Now we've got a policy in place called a directive in place that bar commercial banks or financial institutions from providing financial services to loan customers, or that we call non-compliant borrowers. When we call non-compliant delinquent borrowers, these are people who have refused to go to the bank, they don't pay their money, and they have refused to go to the bank to settle with the bank, either to restructure or to pay. Now, when these names come to us, we work with the bank to make sure that no bank or financial institutions, insurance or something, provide financial services to these people. That's one. And we are also working on our policy, to make sure that these people could be referred, to some higher authority, so that uh, um, um, the banks can have quick redress for those that are refusing to pay. So that means we'll work with the judicial system so that when the banks file complaint, maybe they provided collateral to foreclose on the collateral, the trial can be done speedily, you know. And then thirdly, there are people who also borrow from the banks and they turn around, go against the bank and all of that because they got non-performing loans, they cannot pay. All of these are issues that we'll deal with, but most of all, what we want to start with, which we've done before, but we will be activating, is barring delinquent borrowers, non-compliant delinquent borrowers from dealing with the banking system. Because you can borrow from bank A, and then you go to bank B, you transacting business, you transferring money abroad to buy goods and all of that, whereas you got bank A money, you're sitting on it, you don't want to pay. So you cannot benefit from the system in one area and then you undermine the system on the other side.
Now,
So
how
we make sure that we deal with these people, we bar them from dealing with the system altogether.
how rampant it is, or is it rare, the issue of non-performing loan we're talking about? Is it rampant? Are people really going to the banks and not paying back the loans?
Yes, people are going to the banks and not paying back the loan. If you look at the non-performing loan ratio, the non-performing loan, that is the non-performing loan over the total loan, is about 23% today. That's huge. That's huge. Compared to countries in the sub-region, say for example like Nigeria, they got non-performing loan around 4%. Like Ghana, around 5 to 7%. Sierra Leone around 11%. Liberia, 23%.
Very
So
high.
very, very high. So it means 23% of depositors' money is sitting with some people who feel the big and bad in the society. They can take money and they can pay and nothing will be done to them. These are the kind of people. So it's while the central bank and the banks are doing their best to go, the ordinary people should also speak against these people because it's their money, it's our money that these people are sitting on. So non-performing loan is really, really high. For Liberia, we said, given the society we've got, the tolerable limit for non-performing loan is 10%. That is, no bank should go above 10%.
Okay.
But if we got 23% at the industrial level, that's extremely high.
Now, do you care to tell us, Mr. Donzo, looking at the statistics you have, or the bank has, what kind of category of people you think are involved, are the violators? What sort of category of people who go to the bank, take the bank's money, and unfortunately refuse to pay? Is it the Musu down there in Waterside, or Mary Brown down there somewhere, Red Light, or what kind of category of people?
Well, the category of people cut across all sector.
Okay.
You have corporate, you got individual, you got the small business people as well. But where we see the concentration is actually with the corporate.
The corporate.
The big business.
That's what we learned.
The businesses. There where we see concentration. Though we also have individuals, that are also indebted, they are not paying. For some of them, their delinquency came about because some are working, but when they change job, then they don't want to assign their salary to the bank,
Wow.
for the new job. Some of that's
Individuals
for
now.
individuals, yeah. But for corporate, some will just take loan from this bank and refuse to deal with this bank and start dealing with the other bank and start doing all the transaction with this other bank. And what they will do again, after some times, dealing with this other bank, the bank becomes comfortable with them. The bank say, okay, this is a good customer. Then they take loan from this person and go to another bank.
Can you
So,
imagine that?
so what we are doing is we've got systems in place. We call the credit reference system. That is,
I was coming to that, yeah.
yes, okay. So maybe we just jump in.
Yes,
there.
that's good.
Yeah, so the credit reference system, that credit reference system, what it does is for any bank or lending institution to give loans into any individual or entity, you must consult the central bank to check this credit database and see if whether your name is there and whether you have loans or not, or whether your loan is performing or not. Now, if the loan is not performing, so for example, Mr. George has a loan with a bank and is delinquent, it means no bank.
God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid. It means no bank should give you loan.
Surely.
No bank should give you loan. That policy is there. But the policy currently is very basic. Now, we just signed a contract with a partner, IFC,
Okay.
to actually modernize the system. Because currently it only says XYZ has loan and the loan is performing or is delinquent or the person does not have loan. But the way we want to have the system now, called the modern credit reference system, you'll be able to give you credit history. Because what some people do is they are delinquent at bank A, then they want loan from bank B. What they do, they look for money and say, okay, I'm supposed to pay my loan over 12 months. I haven't paid 3 months. They come and pay the 3 months because they want to take money from bank B.
Then be, yeah.
So when their name come into the system, the name will come as though they are performing. So bank B will give them the money. When bank B gives them the money, then they go back to their delinquent status until they want another one again. Then they regularize their status for that period of time. So the new system will be able to give history.
Okay.
So the new system will say, oh yeah, even though this man is current, but the man did not pay a loan for the past 3 months or for the past 6 months. So the new bank or the new bank the guy is dealing with will be able
Will be
to
the way.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's why it will do. And besides that, this time around, you will not just write to the central bank.
Okay.
Because it will be web-based. So banks, MDs, and bank credit officers will sit anywhere to have access to it. Another issue that we've also observed when we go to do examination that also leading to non-performing loan is the kind of credit underwriting. So if you went for loan, the credit officer make the whole, your whole process look so good, so that management approved to give you loan. And then
in another word, you are not earning $500 US, and you went to the bank. You say you're earning about
700, something like that. So the analysis on you will be so good, and the MD for the bank will not go on the field. So credit officers, we have to have training for them in terms of underwriting and all of that, and also they need to show commitment and make sure that they provide.
And also be sincere as well.
Yes, sincerity, absolutely.
Okay. Now, before we take leave before we open the lines, Mr. Don, so you indicated, and which we know, like one of my pastors once said, that the bulk of the rich people you see around town, they are all bank debtors. The bank, bulk of them. Now, have you been able, the central bank I'm making reference to, have you been able to do your own analysis, based on statistics you have, for which, many of the corporates, do not pay their loan or do not pay a form? Have you been able to do your own analysis to say, look, I think this is the reason why the people are not paying their loan?
We've done analysis, and we know that there are people who are not paying their loan because of some other activities. So let me give an example. The non-performing loan used to be around 13-14%. Because of COVID, it actually jumped up. And because we know that there were businesses that were performing, they were paying their loans, there were no issues with them. But because COVID, the lockdown, they slowed down business activity, the economy slowed down. So they could not make sufficient money to pay back their loans.
Okay.
For some people, especially mostly small business people, most of them actually ate the capital they had during the period of COVID. So they could not pay back. The central bank recognized that and told the banks to work with these kind of people to restructure the loan, give them longer longer repayment term,
Okay.
and reduce repayment amount, so that the small amount they're making, they are able to pay.
Surely.
We recognize that. There are people who have the means, but they just refuse to pay.
Can you imagine
They are
that?
here. Yes, they are here. And I agree with you with the statement that your pastor said most of the big people
They are bank debtors.
bank debtors, which we don't see it to be wrong, but be a good debtor. So that when banks give you money, know that that money is not for the bank. The bank is only a keeper of that money for the ordinary people.
Surely.
So be a good debtor to pay back. If you don't pay back, then it means you are harming everybody in the system. Yes.
0776 540 987. That's the alternative line. Or better still, 0880 514 096. You are listening to Money Matter, a program sponsored and funded by the Central Bank of Liberia, right here on the OBC. I'm just holding on for Saros Koko Bad. And of course, we'll be looking at the soundness of our financial sector, looking at the stability as well, and the issue of bank performing loan. Let's take this first call on the line quickly.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, Professor.
Yes, sir.
This is Peter Soma calling from the SKD Boulevard.
Okay, let's hear from you.
My question had to do with the studio get up. I wonder whether are they monitoring the global bank? Because global bank now have problem. Depositors are not receiving their money. When we go to we deposit our money in global bank and we go there, they will tell you no money there. So I don't know where are they monitoring as a checking the commercial bank, are they monitoring global bank too? Is my question. Thank you.
Okay, medicines. He's taking note. You respond 0776 540 987 or better still 0880 514 096. That's the number to call, and you are live on Money Matter. Again, 0880 0880. Let's take this call quickly. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
My concern has to do with the fee record. When you go on a fee to approve for somebody having business and they want to credit, and they fabricate the information so that they will be able to give the money off. In so doing, when they give the money off, the analysis they will send. I experienced that personally. The money they will send to be paid to the bank, they will come over and now write another figure in a pen so that they will have gain there. Yes, they will have gain there, and then there will be more care for the person accrediting the money, maybe on a lower scale, and then they will not be able to pay the money, they will end up running away or sitting back in sin. And then when they call you now for that money, they will be instructing you to carry the money because they have effect the money. They made the money more than what you're supposed to pay to the bank. So credibility too involved. That's why he stressed upon us saying, I got to come in to make the point here clear. They really got to see about it. That
Okay.
the information is sending in there, it should be just the information is sending in there and no gain for them. But they can come up with very independent, most especially for those people that are not in no school, but it can be too plenty for them.
Okay. Medicine 0776 540 987 or better still 0880 514 096. That's the number to call. Again, 0880 514 096 or better still 0776 540 987. That's the alternative line, and you are live on the program Money Matter. Money Matter is the program sponsored by the Central Bank of Liberia. We take this call on the line quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
I'm Pastor Joseph Kesau calling from Mambakwe.
Let's hear from you, man of God.
Yeah, I just called to confirm what the woman just said. I too have the same problem. The asset bank, one of the bank that causing the more problem. They increase the money, the one the bank will give, I get document to it, and they will make you more money. It can be more than 40% of what you take. I take 105,000, and I pay 144,000. Can you imagine that? You got to check the asset bank ready. That one thing I want to confirm.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take this caller on the line. This is another caller on the line quickly. Let's take this caller and good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Papa Ramos, former banker calling from Wajima City.
Okay. Let's hear from
I
you.
want to first of all appreciate the studio guest for his his brilliant deliberations on the manner in which the central bank is functioning to help the economy of Nigeria. These are giving out loans and monetary of banks.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to find out what method are they using to monitor the various commercial banks to ensure that quality service is delivered at every level and time. Because someone has just complained about Global Bank. So when we were in the bank, I work with Global Bank. Our management team will send people around that you don't even know. We call them at the window shoppers or something. They come in the bank. These are high-profile people, but you don't know they come as ordinary customers, and they come and request service like just any ordinary person. And through that, they will know the kind of services that is being offered at that particular branch or bank.
Okay.
So I would admonish them. I would like to know what are they doing to monitor banking system, the commercial bank, to ensure that they are living up to standard.
Okay. Many thanks. Many thanks. Many thanks. Let me just call on the line quickly. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Oh, this caller is out. Let's try to get this caller. 0776 540 987 or better still 0880 514 096. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Yes. Good morning.
Yeah, this is I'm Johnson calling from Bombay Country.
Let's hear from you, Mr. Johnson.
My concern have to he said the current year bank that were open in Bombay Country here. And during the early regime, that bank was open and dedicated by the former bank governor who is that the June. And thousands of Bombay Country citizens deposited their money in there. We all. And for that time, the bank closed. Up to now, all our money left there. And since then, we have been addressing this thing to the central bank of Liberia. Up to now, we have not heard anything from them. What is the problem? Is this bill not credited to the central bank of Liberia or not? Let me hear from the minister there, please.
Okay, you hear from him. He's already he's taking notes. He hasn't gone. He will answer all those questions. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
This is the major calling for Queensway.
Okay.
So why the central bank having observed the suffering of what we're going through when it comes to exchange, especially the $100 bill that is put on the market, which I see as being very unwise, because it was important to produce 50, 10, 20, because if you have 250, it's 100, and that's what we need for exchange on the market. And then coming up again to produce another $1,000 bill, which is selfless for such an economy with. You understand me? So I mean, the most frustrating part, the present Liberia president we are should not approve, because you can print $8 billion, $100 bill, and then come again and want to print another $1,000 bill. I think you should have advised them as a leader of the nation. That's part the legislature, who should know better, made a big mistake. So I said, look, I think it makes sense to print $4 billion, $100 bill, and print $4 billion, 50, 10s, and 20s. Because the most important thing is change on the market.
Okay.
So why they come with $1,000 bill? It's senseless.
Okay. You made your point. Let's try to get this caller quickly. Good morning. We'll take only two more calls and then we'll go back to our guests to respond to those concerns. 0776 540 987. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Ishmael Adi James Mayor for you from Fuya, Luba County, Liberia.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the studio guests. It's just an area where I'm very much happy for them to do it. The bank supposed to work in line because I'm in Luba County, Fuya, at the border. The other day, somebody went into the bank, access bank to go take loan. They used my number to take loan there. The bank didn't call me and consult me. Only when the woman paid to pay, I received the call. Whether I know this woman, the woman take loan to the bank, whether I know her. I mean, I know the woman was there. I don't know about her loan business. So the central bank is supposed to work along with the other banks. When somebody go for loan, they have to work in line with them so that, they're not be putting us into some danger to the extent. So thank you so much, this program for Money Matter. Thank you so much.
Okay, many thanks, many thanks. Let me go back to my studio guests. Let me take this caller quickly, this brief caller. This long caller. Good morning. You have to lower the volume.
Good morning.
Lower the volume of your radio.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you can go right ahead now.
Someone is wondering, and I've called for Habel.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one studio guys to play me some clarification. I'm subscribing with RB Bank, but the bank, when we take loan, they cut certain money from us, telling us that that money is placed in escrow, so that when you complete the payment of your loan, that money will be given back to you. But we have several individuals now that have that completed the payment of our money, I mean the loan, but yet and still the money can be given back. We have confronted the bank and they don't want to give us any good verification. Okay. So I really want your studio guests to please, throw light on that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, my studio guest will do that. Let me go back to my studio guest, Mr. Foncia Mohammed Donzo. You can respond to all of those concerns and then we'll take leave of you.
Thank you, and let me say thanks to the callers for the level of the questions they've posted. Right. So, in terms of the first question that has to do with depositors are not receiving their monies from Global Bank, one, yes, Global Bank may have had some small liquidity problem. I think they almost on top of it. But it is also good, and this is why we talk about the Consumer Protection Unit. For people that are experiencing this kind of situation, it's good to come to the central bank.
Okay.
Because in as much as central bank is the mother bank, is the regulator and supervises the banks, central bank is not in the bank, when they are conducting these operations. So the best you can do if you have this kind of situation with Global Bank or any other bank is to come to the central bank, file a complaint, and they will be able to look into it.
Okay.
And if there are issues with the bank, we'll be able to tell you what the issues are and how soon the bank can resolve the problem.
Okay.
But it's good for you to come to us. If you went to the bank several times, they don't resolve your problem, come to us.
Okay.
All right? So anybody in that situation, you should come to us. The issue of loan officers, in terms of the kind of analysis they do, and then eventually the repayment amount becomes high for customers. When we're talking about non-performing loans, you recall, I said loan officers are also partly to blame in terms of the high non-performing loans, because if you did analysis for someone and gave them cash flow that they don't earn or that don't come to them, the repayment of the loan will be based on that cash flow.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, the person repayment amount will be more than what they can actually afford, and that leads to non-performing loans.
Okay.
And sometimes, like the lady said, the pastor said, sometimes some of these loan officers, which we have received complaint of, and we have told some of the bank MDs, some of the loan officers actually ask for something in order to facilitate this process.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. So if that happens, the person, we gave something and time to repay, that which they've given will not be part of the repayment. So our loan officers, we are working with the MDs, to see how best to deal with these issues with the loan officers. Absolutely, this is also contributing to the high non-performing loans. Yeah. In terms of the service, I said in my deliberation that the policies, the regulations, the guidelines, the directive that Central Bank has on the website are meant to guard the bank's operations, to make sure that the banks provide quality services. Now, if you are not happy with any of the service, that's why we have the Consumer Protection Unit. You know, central bank staff will not be in a bank at all times. We do go in a bank periodically to do examination to see what the bank is doing. We do receive report. So we go on the bank, which we call on-site, to do our on-site examination, to look at the bank's operations and all of that. And then we receive report from the bank, which we call off-site, to do our analysis. Now, those reports that we receive off-site, we go on-site to validate them. The activities that we receive, that the bank is doing, that report we receive off-site, we'll go and validate them on-site. So if you see that these things are not happening, all you can do to us is to report to us. If you report these things to us, you know, come to the central bank, report to us, it will help us to make sure that we correct the system and improve the system. The credit union in Bomi, yes, this regional credit union is not only Bomi, there are several of them set up, you know, in the different areas. And most of them actually face difficulties because most of them were donor funded, you know, support. So when the support left, most of them face difficulties and they are not operating.
Okay.
Currently, we are also working with the credit union of Liberia to see how best we can address this situation with the regional credit union. So the person in Bomi, we will definitely get to Elkuna, which is the, you know, the apex body for credit union, to see how best to address the situation. In terms of the 100 bills, someone talk about that. You know, unfortunately, apparently the person hasn't been listening to radio, but Central Bank has made several radio appearances to talk about the new currency, why the $100 was printed, and why we could not print smaller bills in December, because we did not have time to print them. The 100 bills is something that we had printed, you know, before. So it was just minor changes to it, and it was meant to deal with the liquidity situation, which has been explained several times. And the 1,000 bill is just part of the several denominations that central bank is going to print. So it will not just be 100 and 1,000. You have 50s, you have 20s, and we'll get coins that would be 5s and 10s, because these denominations are very quick to mutilate.
Yeah, sure.
So coins will be able to address that. So my brother, definitely the central bank has all of these things in control, and we got the currency committee that have come on air several times to talk about these things, and they will continue to come. You know, so please continue to listen. And if you got issues or you got concerns, come to the central bank. We'll be able to clarify your concerns. But they are always on radio. Just probably you may have missed it, but you can come to the central bank or you listen to another Money Matters, and you'll get answers to that. So the issue of the person that called from FOIA, that their number was used, is the same issue with, you know, loan officers. So these are all part of the loan officer, you know, training that we are talking about. Well, with RB, I'm not sure when you talk about deduction, the person that called said deduction, I'm not sure. We don't have any information on that. So what I can advise the person to do, come to the central bank, read the central bank, give us the story, and then we'll follow up, you know, on it. But we are not aware that RB does deduction before giving loans. We are not aware. So if it happened, if that was part of the agreement, you're supposed to get your money back. If you haven't gotten it, read us, and then we'll make follow-up to it. Thank you very much.
Well, he's Mr. Foncia Mohamed Donso. He's the Director of Regulation and Supervision at the Ministry, at the Central Bank of Liberia. He's been our guest on Money Matters. Mr. Donso, we want to thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting us. And I just want the public to always listen to Money Matters, and to encourage the public to always file a complaint whenever they have one. We are there for the public. So they should not feel shy. They should not go away. Come to the central bank. We are there to resolve your problem. Thank you very much.
I'm sure you're quite aware that Money Matters is it's a program sponsored right here on ELBC by the Central Bank of Liberia, and the primary presenter is the man Saros Koko Badio. I'm just sitting in for Saros until he returns. So join us, I'm sure, on the last Wednesday